Today we're going to talk about aftercare, more specifically that it is part of a scene. My name is Mister AnderSiN. I am known as the Kink Educator. We're going to be doing this whole series starting from BDSM 001 all the way to advanced classes. This is going to be part of the BDSM 101 library. If you click this, you can see all the other videos that are going to be available for it. And we're actually breaking it down to in sections. So today we're doing BDSM 101. Make sure to subscribe to find out more about me. Just go to MrAnderSiN.com. I'm excited to talk about this because this is one of those topics. It was almost an 001 one, but I think it does get into a more advanced, at least 101 thing. So here we go. Aftercare is part of the scene. I don't know why people don't quite understand this. Now, I've had people interfere with the scene, and I've had to kind of push them back and be like, hey, I know what I'm doing. I've done this before. I don't need the insight. You got to kind of be protective of your scenes when you're the Dom. Protect the person involved in it with you, the one who is submitting. Protect anyone else who's involved. It is your scene, your time, your space. Does not matter that we're at a public venue. You don't get to interfere. Now, a question was brought up last night, which I was kind of surprised by, and it made me realize that this isn't being talked about enough. They had asked, we were talking about honorifics and something to do with, whether or not a caretaker is the same as a dom daddy. And someone had asked, well, if let's say that I'm a partner with someone and I've seen them just had a great scene, and I go over to bring them a water. Am I being a caretaker to them even if I'm not their caretaker? And on the face of it, it sounds very nice, very loving. You're trying to take care of a friend or playmate, possibly your collared individual. But there's something missing there, and I did bring this up, and I need to bring this up here to everybody. You're interfering with the scene. Aftercare is something that should be negotiated, even if you're doing pickup play. And it should be discussed. So here's a couple scenarios. It's going to be a little bit of a longer video, but this explains. First off, if you're playing with your normal partner and no one is a partner of yours around there, and even if they're just your friend, that friend should stay away during aftercare. Friends should not interfere with their friends' aftercare by trying to offer water. I know that people are going to jump and try to say, well, they're just being nice. But there's a negotiated aftercare. The person administering the aftercare knows what to do. They're doing it. Now, if the person doing it were to call over and say, hey, could you do me a favor and grab a water? Of course you're invited to bring the water, but it's not an invitation to sit and talk. Understand, no matter how close you think you are to them, it's still part of the scene. So the scene rules, and we don't interfere with scenes. We don't ask questions. We don't ask to touch things. We don't touch things without permission. Those same rules applied in aftercare. And the not touching person without submission, that's always in effect. Even in your dreams, that's in effect. I want you to ask for consent in your dreams. So, second scenario, both of them are play partners. This is something you should negotiate. Because I could see a rough scene being something that another play partner wants to go check on their play partner about. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I get that, especially if you've seen them cry and you haven't been communicating with them. I could understand wanting to go over and check on them. You're going to have to avoid this unless you've pre-negotiated it with your play partner that you are allowed to do that. And if you do that, it's your play partner's responsibility to tell their other play partner, hey, if they come over, I've given them permission. This is something I need. It has to be about aftercare. Again, negotiation, building boundaries, and setting expectations. Expectations are so important. We don't talk about those enough. So now you've done that. Now the third scenario, which is a bad look, is if you're trying to go over and kind of assert yourself over someone else who just played. If your partner is playing with other people, that means you have discussed it, or it is just how your partner is laid out, how things will go, and you have to respect that. You don't get to go over and rock the boat or assert your dominance. I've actually seen this before. It's not a good look. It makes everyone uncomfortable. So if you have a play partner who plays with other people, have this conversation today. When it comes to aftercare, when it comes to the things I've seen you go through, am I allowed to approach? Or do I have to wait till the aftercare is over? If you're if you're someone who gets played with and is bottoming, you want to talk to your partners about what your expectations are for that, what you want them to do, and you have to be clear about that. Don't call over your play partner all the time unless the other person knows. They could take that as a rejection. Talk about these things. And if you don't want your play partner around, and I've seen this when you're playing with other people, make sure they know that. Everything in this lifestyle needs to be negotiated. Even if you're someone's slave, that does not mean in a different play scene, they're instantly allowed to come over unless you, the slave, and the dominant, whatever honorific you want to give it, the dom, have worked out how that's going to work, and everyone involved consents to that. You can't play with someone and go, by the way, at the end of it, without talking to them, by the way, he's allowed to be here and do this, and we have to listen to him. That's extending your dynamic beyond the people involved in it. So please be mindful of that. There are further questions about this. I know it can seem complicated. It's really not. I'm going to break it as simple as can be. If it hasn't been discussed and it's aftercare, the scene is continuing until the parties walk away from each other, kind of conclude, shake hands, give a hug, whatever have you. And the submissive goes back into the rest of the group, and so does the dominant. Until then, once the scene has begun, and that is literally tying someone up, setting something up, making the area ready for it, till the point the aftercare is over, you do not interfere. It is that simple. And if you want to have special rules, special anything, considerations, make sure people know it. Even if you want your regular partner or just one of your partners to always bring you over water because they know how to make the water the way you like it, or the special water that they have in the car for you, let your partner know and make an arrangement and tell the play partner whether they're going to stick around, the person helping you, or they're just going to go away. Let them know. Be respectful. That's it for today. If you guys have a question, feel free to ask it. You can go to this comment right here, click on it. It'll take you back to a video that will have tons of other videos in it. Make sure you're subscribing. My name is Mister AnderSiN. I'm the Kink Educator, and I create content about desires, monsters, and more. Thank you for joining us.